Welcome back to another roundtable session hosted by Furlough. And this week we have a management roundtable where we'll be diving deep into the topic of leading with purpose, essential practices for business success. Today's jam-packed session is hosted by Daniel Samples, founder of Nerdit.com, an Amazon PPC agency with over $100 million in attributed revenue. And he's brought with him some incredible minds, from Tom Marcus, the COO of Furlough, Jacob Bowman, the founder of Bowman Consulting, Tony Bradbury, managing director of Gray Matter, Erica Ferreira, marketing operations, Jared Girondino, founder and CEO of Examino, and Nolan Santos, founder and CSO of Exanimo. And here are some of the questions we're going to cover. How do you approach the recruitment process and selection process when building your management team? What are some key practices or strategies you employ to foster a sense of purpose and motivate your management team to achieve business success? What strategies or initiatives do you implement to develop and nurture the skills, capabilities, and cohesion of your management team? What methods or system do you use to evaluate the performance of your management team and provide ongoing feedback and coaching? Get ready for a power-packed discussion that will transform the way you lead and drive your business forward towards success. And as always, this event is sponsored by Phygital.wtf, and all replays are available at furloughtv.com. This session is originally streamed to a live audience every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And as always, don't forget to join our community of entrepreneurs and marketers where we collaborate and have a ton of events just like this in Discord, where the link is discord.gg/furlough. And with that being said, the Managers Roundtable starts now.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? Dan Samples here. I'm going to be your host for today. Everybody hear me okay on the Riverside app, y'all? We sounding loud and clear coming in? Good deal. Well, I don't want to spend too much time talking about myself, but I am the founder of Nerdit.com, an Amazon PPC agency. We've got some really smart folks in the room today, so I want to get right into it. And how do you approach the recruitment and selection process when building your management team?
I think the key is setting a culture and finding the right personalities on top of the talent you're trying to acquire, right? So obviously you're looking for people to fill in roles. But to build a high functioning teams and to establish a management that prosper, and can actually deliver more than just the sum of its parts, you want to establish a culture and bring the right personalities in. So to me, it's always about, one, obviously the mindset of the candidate, what he's looking for, what he's looking to accomplish, if he's a team player or not, if he can learn, if he's coachable, and if he buys into the company's interest.
If someone's not willing to adapt to the environment, to adapt to the culture, to the people, because you're going to have employee overturn, you're going to have people that come in that they may not necessarily work with very well, but teaching them how to actually adapt to that is crucial, and they absolutely have to be able and be willing to take the time to break themselves down and build themselves back up to be better leaders.
What communication methods and tools do you find the most effective in fostering open and transparent communication within your management team and across the org? So communication method and tool stack.
I would say that building the team, recruiting the people, this is the part that I like the most. That's just a general thing. I think this is the most crucial part, at least at the starting stage. You get to know so many people better or less, but it doesn't really matter. And you get to pick those people and make those hopefully good decisions. And if you have enough experience, so you do those exact directions and eventually picking the right people.
Go ahead.
For me, yes, hiring is a crucial thing, but communication is a personal thing. And we're going back to Slack and to me, the Slack is not matters. If it's WhatsApp or a note or whatever,
Yeah.
I've seen offices where they were screaming to each other over the other side of the office.
And I think also with so many people working online, it's very good to have clear communication, especially if a new person starts. Because I've seen many times when we employ a new person, when we don't have clear communication with them, they feel so lost. and they don't know if they should do something this way or that way. So I think if you have like the regular meetings, like Tom said too, but in a relaxed way, and the communication of the expectations. So not just in communicating of what should be done or what not, but many times people come in and they do completely the opposite because we went clear of the expectations.
Interact with people in various ways, but I think a lot of it comes down to trying to still integrate or represent respect to the various people within your organization. You want to talk about building trust and building relationships. You show them respect. And what I mean by that is respect of their ideas, not micromanaging. One of the biggest things with remote work is this idea that like people want to work remote because they don't want to feel micromanaged. In order to allow people to work remotely and actually achieve your objectives, you have to give them very clear and concise KPIs, right? Give them metrics they have to hit. I need you to do this. I need it done by then. Don't care how they get from point A to point B as long as they get to point B. That's how we operate at Gray Matter.
It seems so simple, right? Like treat people with respect like they want to be treated, give them the things they need to do their job well. It all seems so simple, but it's rare, and especially in the digital world. So we do have a couple of questions from the audience.
I see that we have a question here from Kareem on YouTube, which is how to learn about recruiting and building teams, and what books would you recommend?
There's going to be people that are highly technical. They've got their, rubrics, and every interview they score them and do those things. There's going to be people that are more gut feel, and they go, hey, I don't know what it is about this person, but this person, feels like a good fit. When I go to hire somebody, I think I see a resume, right? And a resume is not a person. A resume is just kind of a checkbox to figure out, can they potentially be a good fit for you? What I'm looking for when I'm talking to those people are a lot of what Ophir said early on. And what you'll find is the more hiring you do, you find the things that actually matter most. I think there was another question there about, technical skills versus creativity and things like that. At the end of the day, every job's going to be different. You're going to find the things that are coachable, as some folks here said earlier. But there's what I look for when I hire is I'm looking for a toolbox, right? I think of our company as like every employee of our company is a tool in the toolbox. And our customers are looking to use us and our tools to accomplish what they're looking for.
Perfect. Oh, you can train skills. 100%. I have some comments on some of the previous stuff, and it's not a roundtable unless there's disagreements. And like I felt that the medium that was unified, that everyone here agreed that the medium is not relevant, is because I've seen countless issues happen, but I've had so many instances where team members that effectively, like, right, you have departments, the people in said department, they work with each other. So why are they going to go and use the team channels that they have for that said department? They're just going to handle something directly in like a private channel. And then when that happens, a week later, I go to the manager and I'm like, hey, where's XYZ? And they're like, oh, well, it was on this person. And I love this question. And this question is not to point fault, but it's simply a test. And I ask all team members any opportunity I get is, whose fault is it? Because if they point at me, it's only a matter of time till you're gone. Like, it's just how it is. It's a simple test. If they point at somebody else, not a good look. You still need to be trained. If they point to themselves, they're a keeper. Because every single one of your teammates, they should be taking accountability, even if it's not their fault. Yeah, let's get the counter argument. Who disagrees with that?
Yeah, let's hear you disagree. I was objecting again. What's going on? So to me, the moment we get to the pointing fingers kind of exercise, this is the management fault. The moment we start saying, oh, this is you, this is me, this is my fault, immediately. Because me as a company, I don't care who fucked it up. No, I care about how I avoid it from happening and how I put team members to be successful, not how I make sure that they're accountable. Yeah, I need people who are being accountable. Yeah, I get the benefit of it, but I do think the entire communication of who's responsible shouldn't be done this way. It needs to be done on the caring level rather than the owning level. That's one. Second, on the communication, it depends on the person, You have people who are not feeling comfortable to point their fingers in the team meeting, and then they're not feeling comfortable to say what they have on their minds, or even sometimes they're not really on top of chat communication, Slack. Like, I had a really good employee.
That sounds like a terrible employee. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it out. They don't talk in meetings. They don't communicate with the team. They're like,
I'm just saying I disagree completely, Joe. I think you made a comment about don't have phone calls with people, right? Which I can see if you're having phone calls with people and you're not documenting any part of that phone
of
call,
course.
I get it completely. But it's very easy to have a phone call with someone and write a quick follow-up Slack message or email to send to
In a
them
public
directly.
channel where there's a paper trail. Yeah. I'm not
Right.
against phone. I'm sorry. Let me be clear. I'm not against phone calls, but I'm against phone calls that have importance that are not documented and held accountable afterwards for reference. That's all.
So Joe, you don't actually care about medium then. So what you actually care about is what you're talking about is a culture situation. It really isn't about the median in any way, because you just said, hey, a phone call is great as long as you document, right? You're in a, funny enough, because of furlough, you're in a build in public culture, right? You want everything to be out in the open. You want everybody to know what's going on, right? That's a culture thing. It's really not about the median. So I think to the point about the median, you care more about the culture that goes with the median.
Yes and no, because my team, I tell them to build in public in our private channels. Like, I'm not saying hey, go on social media and do this. I'm saying in private channels so that each department has some idea what they're doing, so that we can really dominate on an omni approach.
Yeah.
It's my only 2 cents. So yeah, there's also other factors that we're not accounting for, but without a doubt, my whole thing is that if everybody has all the information available, they are effectively going to make better decisions. But if I am simply like compartmentalized into my little silo and I only know this is my task and it's due this date, like where does that go afterwards? Where does it go before?
I also think it's important to keep the ultimate goal in mind. So the decision that you're making, how is that taking you closer to your goal of the business, or is that taking you in a different direction from your goal? So if it is in line with the goal that you have set for the business, then I think it's more easier to make.
Like, before you even decide on what you're going to decide on, it's important to identify whether those decisions are actually even important. So, it's really important to take a step back and to really get to know if those decisions are really worth thinking about. Because, and this is something that I've learned as a young entrepreneur myself, and this is something that I've picked up through Joe, through Ophir, and through the amazing people over here at Furlough. It's to always have a bias to action. It's to always go for the things and for the decisions that really push the needle forward, that really leads to viable results that you can see yourself and your business doing.
I gotta say, I'm just so happy. I'm happy that my partner and I completely different viewpoints, because I'm gonna completely say the opposite of that. Decide fast, change slow, fire faster. It's my 2 cents. Like when I interview, I can tell. I mean, I kid you not. Rachel was our events manager. I brought Mav on the first interview. Within 5 minutes, we told her she got the job. It's like I feel like you could tell, take a bet on them. I've hired people within the first week of just seeing them actually integrated with the team and like getting feedback. I'm like, oh, this isn't a good fit. But on the deciding part, like waiting 2 months, you could always change over that course of time.
No, I don't know any situation where I wouldn't make a decision and wait months to make that decision, because if I'm teeter-tottering, right? If I'm on one side or the other and I'm constantly going back and forth, how am I even supposed to develop the mindset for that decision? So let's just say it's a yes or no. I do want to work with this company. I don't. You're giving yourself time to reflect on your decision, which is ultimately what's going to change. To your point of fear, yeah, things can change.
When you think about long-term forecasting and strategical planning, I'm kind of in the boat with Ophir here, where decisions now that need to be made are made, right? But when you start talking bigger picture, long-term philosophical decisions, future of the company, right? If I'm 6 months out from a potential, we'll call inflection point, I don't necessarily need to make a move now. And the reason being, look, we pivoted our whole business recently. And there were some key decisions about hiring that we were trying to figure out, like, hey, are we going to hire, what's our hiring forecast look 6 months down the road? Kind of like I kind of punted and said, look, I don't know what the business is going to look like. So I'm not going to start budgeting necessarily for that hiring forecast yet, because our whole business structure is going to be changing. And then it did. And so, really it wasn't worth spending a bunch of time arguing about what we're going to pay them, what the roles are going to be, because we ended up not going that direction. And so I do think, like, look, when you have the information to make decisions that are relevant today, yes, run hard, make the decision. We'll deal with consequences later. But when you start talking philosophically long term, I'm kind of more in a fears boat where, like, look, I'm going to delay as much as I can because, to your point of fear, that information does change day to day, week to week, month to month.
I'm
And,
gonna
and new
call
information is the
bullshit.
best information.
Sorry, I'm gonna call bullshit on both of you guys. All right, and it's just the truth because in your head, whether preparation of 2 months in your head, you have an idea what you're gonna say. You do, and whether you pivot later or something happens and new information comes around, you might end up changing, but you know what you're gonna do. You have an idea.
No,
I
so to your
want to just add 2 points on this. So for
yeah,
me, I get what you're saying. Yes, I get it, and you have some sort of like an internal decision before making it.
Mhm.
But on my side, when I took a decision, it's already been made. Many times. Like, for example, when I decided to terminate a partnership, that was like it was a $500,000 decision for me. I didn't make it official, but the moment it was taken on my head, I was a few steps ahead of it. You know what I mean? Like, I've already done something, even though it wasn't final. I could have gone back. But
Mhm.
bottom line, the moment I took that decision, something happened on top of it that was more actionable than just making a decision. And this is what I mean.
Definitely. And I think you making the decision internally is that's where I'm getting at. You don't need to make external decisions at all. You can just do internal decisions and just like have that internalize it, know it, and then when it's time to actually tell the world, cool. But you've been known that. And if you want to change over time, that's where I say decide fast, change slow. And it gives you that leeway of saying, cool, this is what I've been doing. And the more I've been thinking about this, actually it has been the wrong decision. And now I can change my approach to it. So I think we all agree, actually.
Yeah, I think
I think we all
it just
agree
comes
this.
down to I think it's just down to which style you're going for. For example, with Joe and Ophir, I agree with Joe that he's really glad that they're not the same, because if you're basically the same with your partner, then that's not your partner. You just need yourself. And it's the same thing with me and my partner. Jerry wasn't able to make it, but it's the same thing. So like he is the much more calculating one. Yeah, I would say he's kind of like the Ophir one, and I'm like the Joe one. So I like making decisions based on my gut, and just not postponing it, because if you're really just postponing it, then you're actively killing off what could be, and what could happen.
I just like, real quick on like a off topic that I think is very relevant on the fact that Ophir and I say on opposite points. Like, guys, if you don't notice, that's the type of partner you want. You don't want somebody that's just always on the same page. You guys always having different perspectives and opinions on things, and actually coming back and having a discussion. And when you get opposing sides to agree on something and then move forward on it, especially in business. I mean, like I love the fact that Ophir and I can, have this type of debate. We've gotten in heated arguments, and afterwards, like, Sababa, brother, what you gonna go eat? And it's super cool and chill, and it's all love. So I just want you guys to see this, and I've gone through so many bad partners, and I'm grateful to finally have an absolutely awesome partner.
And I just want to add another aspect to this, and this has worked well for me, and for me and handling my entire business in general. And it's I don't know about you guys, but I don't want zombies working for me. So I'm really big on motivation. I'm really big on activities, especially. So people, especially like employees, oftentimes they want to feel involved, and not just on the work side, and not just knocking down these tasks, do this, do that. They also want to be a part of something, a bigger cause. So like in my case, I always push to not forget about recreational activities. It could be playing games together, maybe on Discord. I know we do that over at our server. It could also be just sitting together on a dinner, maybe, or maybe dinner, lunch, or getting together, and that does something, and that excites something in them, that I'm not just part of a business that basically does just work, 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 but I am also part of a family. I'm also part of this culture.
Invest heavily in training. I think that's the number one thing when it comes down to management, and understand that sales is always with you.
And everyone, thank you so much for your time. I really had a great time here vibing out. But guess what? The party ain't over. Mark your calendars for July 19th, 2 p.m. Eastern, because we're back with a mind-blowing episode about partnerships. Get ready to be blown away by the sheer brilliance of Jacob Bowman, Ophir, and myself. We'll see. Trust me, this event is a real deal. Y'all, please do tune in. We're doing these on the regular, just tons of free value. I can't recommend it enough. So thanks for everything, y'all.